Hello ladies and gentlemen, it's Triple G, and very soon in cinemas we'll be able to get to see Rogue One, a Star Wars story, the first extracurricular spin-off style Star Wars film we've ever seen, and I'm pretty excited. So today I thought for the Grizzly Gauntlet I'll try out a game based on the Star Wars universe that has something to do with space, and I found something that pretty well fits the bill. Star Wars Rogue Leader. Rogue Squadron 2. Get it? Rogue. Like in the movie. And to be honest, in the past I've actually played the original Rogue Squadron game for the N64, so I'm quite intrigued to see what this game is like. And at least it'll pump me up for the film release, and hopefully it's going to be really good. I want it to be really good. And it will be really good. Previous to this game I played Rogue Squadron for the N64. It was a bit clunky to control, but overall it was a really fun way to play a pilot in the Star Wars universe in its most convincing iteration at that time to date. It was a commercial and critical success, and up to that point, the standard for a Star Wars space battle game, until the development team behind it, Factor 5, in conjunction with LucasArts went back to work on a follow-up, Rogue Leader, Rogue Squadron 2, for the Nintendo GameCube. In essence, the team wanted to recreate all of the best scenes from the original films for players to take on with a new engine, better graphics, and a new gold standard to the genre. Plus, they even got the actor for Wedge Antilles, Dennis Lawson, to reprise his role for the game. Which is pretty cool. Okay, let's see where we start. Whoa, hang on, the Death Star is mission number 1? Man, they're not playing around here. New pilot, okay, let's see Death Star. I think I'll check out the tutorial first, just to get the hang of the controls. Ah, Tatooine, much better.
Good job, you found Jabba's palace.
I don't know about that, it was just kind of sitting there. Okay, I guess these giant rebel icons give me some direction.
Some vehicles come equipped with proton bombs. Press the B button to activate the bombing reticule. Press it again to drop a bomb. Try it now.
Wait, hold on. Is that someone's house? You want me to just bomb this isolated house in the middle of the desert for the tutorial? The one that kinda looks like Luke's house from episode 4. Okay. Monster. I'm a goddamn monster!
Race against Biggs and Wedge to Tashi Station.
Ah, these guys, 2 of the Rebel Alliance's best pilots. This should be a bit of fun.
You're on, Wedge. Let's see how fast these things go.
Oh well, that was easy.
You found a bantha herd. Now find 4 more.
Hang on, buddy, the game says Rogue Leader on the front, not Harvest Moon Bantha Wrangler. I think I've had enough of this. So after we've gotten the hang of the controls, we get to try out one of the most important and iconic space battles ever in Star Wars history, or come to think of it, probably ever. The Death Star Trench Run. Come at me, Empire, I'm Luke Skywalker, I don't give a shit.
Great shot, Luke.
Really? Now this area, despite its horrible fail states, is really cool. We start off destroying the gun towers on the surface, progress onto dogfights with TIE fighters, and it really encapsulates the feel of the Star Wars space battles. However, since the first Rogue Squadron game, there's now the addition of the targeting computer, which not only highlights your objective targets, but also helps with your aim. Thus, usually, this is what you'll be using to do everything in the game. Especially seeing as the majority of the craft you attack are jet black against the darkness of space, meaning tracking hostiles without it is very difficult. After mopping up the last of the TIEs, we then get to traverse the trench run to the exhaust port, and it really feels just like the movie. After dodging a few obstacles and TIE fighter attacks, Darth Vader even turns up to give us trouble. Han Solo takes out the TIEs, and we fire our torpedoes at the target. Mission accomplished. Well, that was pretty fun. What else you got? The game's core level roster has a total of an additional 9 levels to tackle, and there's a lot of variety. There's a convoy escort for a nebula, the iconic Battle of Hoth, a prison raid, a full-on assault against a Star Destroyer, a salvage mission on aforementioned Star Destroyer, a defense mission on Cloud City, a mission to steal the shuttle Tidarium from Episode 6, and even another attack on the second model of the Death Star. You get to try out a huge roster of ships, each with their own strengths, weaknesses and special abilities, usually switching them up with each new mission. Plus, you can change craft mid-mission to tailor your firepower, mobility or specialties for the required task at hand. And that's not to mention that there's a huge amount of extras you can unlock using passcodes, with a lot of the codes actually being quite clever.
Oh, I see, aren't you the master of puns?
Ranging from a documentary of the game, artwork, sound rooms, extra levels, and even special craft, such as Slave 1, the Millennium Falcon, and other workhorses of the Star Wars universe such as TIE Fighters, the Naboo Starfighter, and the, car. You know, from that sequence in Return of the Jedi where Lando Calrissian and the car swoop in to destroy the second Death Star? That was my favourite part of the movie. The steering wheel. There's even 2 extra alternative timeline missions where you get to play as Darth Vader in all his stomping around glory. You get to foil the Rebel assault on the original Death Star and even go one step further by assaulting the Yavin 4 Rebel base and destroy every single transport ship trying to flee the system. But nothing quite comes close to the final levels of the game. The second Death Star battle. Starting with the fleet, you have to protect the larger ships from a huge amount of TIE fighters, and eventually you make an assault for the Star Destroyers. However, even though the last level that follows does a really good job of mimicking the iconic film scene of the core assault, it is ball-crushingly difficult. For instance, first thing you need to do is protect Lando from being blown up. But just look how fast things escalate.
Watch yourself, Lando. TIE fighters at .06. Cover me, Wedge.
And this is the biggest problem with this game by a mile. Failure sends you right back to the start of the level, and some moments give you no clue where to go, how to proceed, or how far you can stretch the conditions before you're sent back to square one. Plus, sometimes if you don't attack the right unit straight away, you fail the mission. So often you'll have to try again and again just to see how to do a particular section of each level to progress, which really hampers the experience. However, there aren't really any better ways to end this type of game as far as its setting goes. Wedge and Lando navigate their way to the core, blow it up, and leave in style. We get a little bit of AMV from the film, and that familiar credits roll begins. So there we have it, Star Wars Rogue Leader, Rogue Squadron 2. I think it was pretty good overall, but the problem with this game, kind of similar to the last one but more so, is just the fact that it's so difficult to sometimes do certain sections of levels, and the fact that you have to go all the way back at the start when you mess up really makes this game a chore to complete near the end. And I gotta be honest, this game actually holds up pretty well to scrutiny over time. I mean, there's not too much fidelity with animation when it's using things like vehicles and ships and space, so not much can go wrong in that department. Now, certain parts of this do really look quite jarring compared to modern gaming. I mean, things like the HUD, the aiming reticule, some of the explosions, and even some of the acting can be a bit patchy. But the bits that emulate the movies, Hoth, the second and first Death Star, etc., are amazing. Now, the only copy I've been able to find is GameCube exclusive, so if you have a Wii or a GameCube, I'd suggest picking this one up. But be prepared sometimes to get a bit frustrated here and there, but overall I think it's one of the better games I've played in the Star Wars universe, and definitely one of the better pilot simulators. But either way, thanks very much for watching this video, hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm gonna go for a ride in my car.
I've been driving in my car.